So I am studying for my EMT National Registry. If you don't know what that is, National Registry is done by most states in the US, and basically all the states that surround me do it, and like all the big ones like Texas and California and New York, I think, all do them. I'm not talking about New York. And basically, the EMT, you don't like take a test to get a license. You take a test to get a National Registry, and then like once you get hired at a job as an EMT, which an EMT, if you don't know, are people who work on ambulances. Then your like agency or like work like a fire department or a hospital, they give you a license for your state. So the National Registry, any state that has National Registry, you can get a license in. So that is what I am doing. So say for that test, it's a long test, it's a couple hours long, and it covers everything the EMT has to know. Like every subject from like pediatric to geriatric to bariatrics to anything, all of that. You know, trauma and medicine, which are different, kind of like, medicine's kind of considered like EpiPens, and trauma's considered like doing like, splints and, tourniquets. So I'm learning about that, all the ins and outs. Like, of course, I took EMT school, I went to the EMT school, and it teaches you all the big things, but really, like, to pass this test, you need to know the little things involved. And so, like, I know how to splint, I know the big things, but really get those little details. Like, for example, I read yesterday in, what chapter was that? The cardiovascular emergencies. I guess I had forgotten this. Where you do an AED, you have to pull your ambulance over, and because like there'd be interference with like the rhythms for movement and all that, so you need to pull over, and if you're gonna shock someone, you need to pull over. And that's like little facts like that, like how many people die in the US of heart disease, or what's the biggest killer in the United States? It's like, well, it's heart disease. So little things like that it's like you need all those little facts so you pass. For the National Registry, you no longer get 100% of the National Registry, because the computer kicks you out when it thinks you're going to either pass or fail. So it is a scary feeling when it kicks you out. So like that question, I failed or I succeeded. So I'll move my fan out of the way. But right now, I think I'm going to be working on, I'll turn you over here, let's set my camera, is I am working on the neurological emergencies. So I have read basically every chapter in this whole entire book. It's about 2,000 pages. I probably haven't read about 4 of them, because during my EMT school, it was really fast paced, and I didn't have the chance to get through everything. So I'll be working on this today, and this video will just generally cover everything that I am doing. And so to get through this, I'm also going to purchase some questions from a site called, I don't know if I'm sure, like Fisdap, which will be like actual questions that have been proven to be similar enough to National Registry where you can understand and like study for how the test is actually taken. So I'm going to do those. They're about $100, which is pretty pricey, but investing in your future is what I call it. So this is just kind of back to me, is what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to kind of be walking you through my test date, which is September 5th, and this whole video will surround that, probably be pretty long. So it's kind of inspired off Revere. She's a medical school student, and we're going to be doing those, so I'm excited. Well, when you're studying, check in with you guys later today or tomorrow when I say some more. Okay, just doing another check-in. I guess like a few things to talk about. So yesterday I did a check-in on my studying, and I talked about the Fisdap questions, and so I actually purchased those yesterday, and I went through one of the practice like final exams, which is basically like the best test basically you can kind of do. They kind of show like the most similar to the actual National Registry to EMT certification. And like EMT certification has about 200 questions. We don't always do all of them because, like I said earlier, the EMT test will just give you as many questions until it feels like you have passed or failed. So If you're doing super well, you might only do like 140 questions and then it kicks you out. So I did that yesterday and I felt really good up until like 100 question 125, and then I definitely noticed my energy go down a lot, which kind of resulted in me not doing super well on the practice test. I need to get a 70% on an ET test to pass, and on my practice exam I got a 60%. So 120 questions out of 200, so I need to at least improve by 20 to get 140 right. So I got some work to do. Kind of like, it doesn't tell you what you got wrong. I just thought we might try this. Oh boy. But but it does definitely, like, you kind of know the questions you'll do as well, and I kind of like started writing a list. I think like for me, kind of the main things I need to work on are things like, I just haven't learned enough into like how to move patients, where it's like, one of the questions like, do you have your weight against the gurney or away from it when you're lifting? I'm like, I don't remember that. Some shocks, some the symptoms of like things like meningitis and all of that. You can't really see my fingers, but I'm gonna jump like all like crazy today. So I did those, and just kind of like things like that I need to get better on. So there's fine details I'm like noticing, like, oh, like what oxygen percentage does a nasal cannula do? And I'm like, I don't remember that. I try like the little things like that I need to like review on. So making a list of things to review and then check off once I've done them. So I kind of feel well about that. I think like I'm gonna do a few more notes. I definitely need to build up my stamina. I think I would have done like at least like better, like 10 to 20 more questions if I didn't get tired after about 125 questions. So I'm definitely gonna build up my stamina so when the real testing comes, I don't poop out halfway through. So I did that. Today I was learning about immunological emergencies, so stuff like diverticulitis, just all stuff like that. Just really good stuff. And ulcers and fun stuff. If you think that's fun. Okay, so a little update now. It is August 24th. It is a Saturday, and I literally like had a meltdown. Probably like I'm slowly descending into madness, and it's like driving me nuts. I literally feel bad about everything because I'm spending all my day studying, and I feel bad because in my home life, like we're currently remodeling our basement, and my brother's wedding is a week from today, so that's so sad. I'm not sad, but like scary because like company's coming, so I might be losing my bedroom, which means, and like the rest of my house is like being remodeled, so it's literally like, you know, nowhere for me to go, and I need to study all day, so that's scary, and I need to get that done, and then I need to like work on my chapters. I realistically, I would go over about 13 more chapters, but I don't have that amount of time. So I'm gonna go over at least like 4 super essential. The other ones aren't as essential. Honestly, I'm gonna lightly review the other ones if I have time, and then I have to like go over my list, and then I have some online courses to go over again, like poison control, hazmat awareness, like a little bit of like. So it's like stuff like that I need to go over, and a little bit of like moving of patients, and that's like the essential things I need to go over. And besides that, I feel pretty confident. I don't know if I'm jinxing myself, but I feel like I'll pass. If I like on the test day, I have to be very attentive, and like I said in the last update, I got tired around question 125. I just need to like remember like on the day, like not to lose focus or be tired, like give less effort, because it's like it's 2 hours of my life. If you're tired afterwards, you sleep all day. Who cares? You did it. So I'm kind of at that stage where I'm reading some stuff. It's interesting, but I'm also nervous that I'm not knowing enough. So that is kind of where I am at right now. And I'm gonna like, I just have to like keep like stay on my head, and then I'll be good. So see you in another update. Bye. Okay, so I'm doing my, today is Monday, August 26th, you kind of look at this, and I'm kind of wearing a pink shirt because I painted a little bit with my family yesterday. If you can hear in the background, there are some construction workers here who, I just realized this desk is so dirty, oh boy, and they're putting in the floors in our house, so that's good. But kind of like my update is, I worked really hard yesterday. I went through 2 chapters, which is about 65 pages. So that's a lot of pages, and it took me like, I think like with breaks it was 7 hours, probably like studying for like 5 hours in total, and so a lot yesterday. I kind of had a headache from it. I don't know, but I think today I kind of feel discouraged. But I need to move past that. I think a run will help, so I'm gonna read today's chapter, or not the whole thing, because it's 60 pages, and I don't have this calendar for today, so probably half of it's like 30 pages or 40, and then go for a run. Kind of get my head clear, and I'll run's always help me with that. So that's kind of my update today. I'm trying to stay positive, but it's hard. Well, see you next update. Since I am down here, I'm just kind of showing you this. Let's talk about what I studied today. Today I studied, let's see stuff, renovations. I did an online class because I have some online classes I wanted to review, because when I did them originally, I wasn't very, I just don't think I focused on them very well. So today I went over incident command and all of that fun jazz. So did that, did the ring today. Tomorrow I'm going to go over N.R.E.M.T, and then a bit more reading, and then hazmat awareness, and after that I'm going to do the pretest, see the areas I'm bad in, and then review on those. Today is Wednesday, so I have tomorrow a week. So, I'm not even in the light at all. And so that's kind of update for today. Hi. So my update for today. So yesterday I didn't study at all because I kind of expected I wasn't going to study yesterday because of my brother's wedding, which you probably saw a very small clip of. And so today I thought it'd be quite interesting is I've been taking some Fisdap quizzes, I guess like final exam tests, that's like all your knowledge in all your areas, and kind of gives you an idea of like if you're going to pass your National Registry. And these tests are generally made a little bit harder than the actual National Registry. So it's like if you can pass this, you can definitely pass the National Registry. National Registry isn't hard, but this is a good way to kind of judge if like you're going to pass or not, and if you need to move your test date back or study in certain areas. So the cool thing about Fisdap quizzes, and I guess like test is a better word, is they break down your areas that you do well in and you do bad in, and kind of tell you, even more specifically what you do good and bad at. And so I thought it'd be kind of fun to compare my first Fisdap quiz I took versus my last one I took on Friday, and kind of see the improvements I made in areas I can do well. And so since my first one, I've done a lot of trauma, I've gone over a lot of operations, and I've gone over a bit of medical since I took my first Fisdap quiz about a week and a half ago. And so I'm going to tell you my differences. And so on my first Fisdap quiz, I got a 60%, which is about officially I had 119 questions out of 200 right. And then on my second Fisdap quiz, I got 146 questions right out of 200, which gives me a 73%. And so the National Registry is required to get a 70% to pass. So on my pre-test, even on a few days out still, I passed that, which is really, really encouraging and kind of making me feel like, okay, I'm going to pass this, and kind of the past few meltdowns, not like meltdowns of days, kind of like my stress I've been doing by going for a lot of runs and walks, because trying to get my stress out as I'm kind of like studying all day and kind of spending multiple hours doing this. And so kind of for some enjoyment, let's break these down. Okay guys, welcome back for the final update of this video. So it depends if I keep this last clip in, but basically this will be repetitive if not, but when I applied back for my N.R.E.M.T, application to prove me to test back in June before I was 18, I read a line that says you have to have all forms of permanent ID. So when you get a driver's license, they give you a temporary card, which is like paper, and they don't accept those ones. It's like the plastic copy. Well, I was like, that's fine. I'm gonna get my driver's license before that, and fine. So, but because since I applied for the N.R.E.M.T for the exam before I was 18, it didn't get approved until like mid-July, and then by the time I scheduled my date for September 5th, I just completely forgot about that line. And so, you know, lo and behold, kind of procrastinating getting my license like the week of because I'm studying, like stressing about that, and then I'm going through printing everything off I need and read that line again, and I'm like, oh crap, like I have, you know, like I take my driver's test, you know, in a couple of days, and I'm gonna have that paper form. So I call in to, you know, like the people who run the testing, and I see, you know, my ID just expired, you know, like a month ago before I was 18, of, you know, my state ID, my school IDs, and all this stuff, and they go, normally we'd accept them, but because they are expired, you can't use them. So I was like, crap. So you know, I ended up scheduling my date for 2 weeks later, you know, September 21st, and did my driver's test, and you know, I scheduled it. I scheduled the last person of the day. So kind of a side story. The good news was I had 12-minute driver's test, so that was the good news from this event. But basically 2 weeks later, and just start waiting, which was kind of nice. I studied a few more things. I kind of had some days to, you know, relax and get de-stressed. And so, you know, the problem was, like, you know, 12 days later, when they said, like, 14 days later, I think it was, when, like, they said it would be here, I think it was like a week and a half to make sure it was, like, absolutely here, that it was Wednesday, and I tested it on a Saturday, and the mail already come for Wednesday, and it still wasn't here. So I had to, like, call my DMV, and they had me go to the state, and the girl's like, I can either confirm or deny where they shipped from, but it shipped, you know, yesterday. So the ID doesn't end up coming until, you know, Friday. And so on Friday, all of a sudden, like, it came at like 1 o'clock when the mail finally came, and I was like, crap, this is actually happening. So that was kind of like, because, you know, the last like 2 weeks I wasn't sure if it was going to come or not, so I wasn't really like building myself up for the test. And so kind of that day I tried to like de-stress, and kind of like, as my anxiety was going through the roof, you know, went for a run, you know, tried to watch a movie. I actually went to the movies. Funny enough, I had like climb over like, you know, like an aisle of chairs. Everyone was on the way to get to my own seat, and I ripped my pants, which that was super fun. So when you're trying to de-stress, the world's just like, haha, not today. And then that night, I basically slept for about 3 more hours that day, kind of a few more things I wanted to be a little bit better at. And then I tried to sleep as hard as I could. I think I went to bed at like 2 or 3, which for most exams that are huge, at the SAT, I only slept like 1 hour most of those days, so big improvement. And so I go and take my test. I actually woke up before my alarm, because like 30 minutes, I was so nervous I was going to sleep in. And, you know, get there. Weird enough, like I was thinking like maybe the SAT, whatever, like in a room, there's like signs, like down this hallway, no signs, like almost none of the lights are on there. Luckily, like some girl who's there, you know, like at like 8:40 in the morning, like guided me down to my testing room. And so my test date was my test time was at, you know, 9:15. It does get there 30 minutes early, so I got there. You know, then you sign your paperwork, then they take your thumbprint, you have to like, take a picture of yourself. And because like my test was in like a computer lab at this college where a whole bunch of like people were taking like random tests, like a nursing test, and a physiology test, and then like 2 people there actually came after me were taking their E.M.T test too, so that was kind of cool. But basically took my test in a room, you know, by 9 o'clock, like, you know, didn't have time to like psych myself out. They psyched out my testing, and then I took the test. And so the tests were pretty different and really unusual questions than I was expecting. Like the Fisdap questions had some similarities, but they were very different than I was expecting. Like one was like, your patient, midline scar, what surgery caused this? And I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't study stuff like this. I studied like, you know, like how to treat people in shock. So a little weird. But basically everyone tells you that you should test for like at least an hour, at least 70 questions. And so the questions were super unusual, and so I was getting more and more and more anxious about like, oh, like how should, like, you know, I don't think I'm answering these right. I'm like second guessing everything. And they have like 5 questions in a row where I'm like, I'm doing this, I got this, and like 3 questions like I suck. And then it kicks me out. And at this point I've been testing for 40 minutes. So literally 40 minutes, 40 questions, and I'm out of the test. And I was like, I failed. And I was so like, you know, like determined that I had failed because, you know, basically, if you don't know, I kind of said this earlier in the video if you forgot, but basically every section of the E.M.T exam you must get 70% at least to pass. So like let's say you get 80% overall, but 60% one of your sections, you fail. So like all my questions were like basically all medical with like a few trauma, a few pediatric, a few like OB-GYN, and that was it. And like a couple operations, but basically like I'm saying like 30, 25, 30 of those 40 questions all medical. So I thought like, and like even though the exam's like reactive to you, so like if you it will like test you harder and harder on like things. It's like if like you're doing well or like you're like doing really good or really bad. So because like it was drilling me with medical questions, I was like, and then it kicks me out after answering a medical question, I was like, I must have failed that portion. So I get back out there, literally back in my car, because I didn't drive that today. My mom dropped me off because I was too nervous to drive. It was like 9:40, so I'm literally there like less than an hour and already out of the exam. So I was like, I failed. Like, it's like 2 hours and 5 minutes to test, and so I was like, you failed. And the next 2 days, I was like, absolutely, like, I failed, and I don't want to talk to nobody, to be completely honest. But basically, it told me like the thing, like you get a paper saying like like in 2 to 5 days your exams, like business days, will be on the website. So I like checked it, but of course like I did it on a Saturday, so and Sunday like nothing's up there, and I was like, oh my gosh, like you failed. And like I heard some people who are like, like done less questions than like they're supposed to in the past, but basically one person, everyone was like, I tested for an hour, I had 200 questions, I had 140 questions. So at 40 questions, like, yeah, you failed. And so, I'm like checking it, like, no, like nothing's coming up. And on Monday I wake up and I'm like in my depressive mood. And I like click in the website and I log in, and it brings me to a different page than I'm used to. They'll like kind of like usually go to like on the page, application results, and like nothing's happened. And it brings me up and it says like, it was like certification status, and I'm like, oh no, here I go. I failed, and it says newly certified EMT. And I just like exploded in like joy. And if I can get the clip off, someone like my mom was actually filming for somebody else, her friend. So I'll kind of like put a little clip of that in here if I can get it. But if not, we're gonna continue. So basically, I had joy. I basically like literally like jumped up in joy, like, oh my gosh! And that was kind of amazing. And then the last thing that I'm gonna show you guys before this video is over is what comes. Oh. That's backwards. Good. Okay, so like if you see right here, you get a like little like letter in the mail a couple days later, which is opened, and like official stuff. And so in here you have a few things. So like first of all, you get this like beautiful plaque that has like your name on it, which will kind of cover up a little bit, and like basically says like you passed, basically like a college diploma. You also get a really cool letter that's like congratulations, and again, cover my dress up, and it's like, this is all the things about EMT, it's super official looking, and you're like, it feels like you like won a Nobel Prize. And then the last thing's in my wallet, and it's basically this little card that you're able to carry in your wallet and like show to people. I'll kind of cover my name and like my registration number. Basically kind of like looks like this, and it has like your certification level and all of that. So that's kind of my experience with EMT National Registry. And so I guess like my last thing on here is, of this like journey, is this is part of my journey. Like, eventually I want to go to medical school one day, and I just want to see people out there who have like their goals, like do it. Like just like if you're here, like the best piece of advice I ever got my whole entire life is to go, if you're in a program, you're at school, you're doing something, some position, someone believes that you can do it. It doesn't mean it's not going to be hard, or if you give like 110% and everyone else giving 50% doing it, like you can do it. And so like also specifically for medical people out there is, I didn't want to go through college and then get to medical school and realize I hate this. So I took my EMT in high school, and like when I went on those ambulances, like I was really questioning, like, do I like this? But when I went on those ambulances and like I had a patient, I had simple calls like transport calls, and like I had people who like died. I had heart attack people. Like I had a big variety in my experience, which not everyone gets. But like in that moment, like I never felt more of a sense of fulfillment in my life. And so like do things like you'll be a pharmacy, like you'll be a pharmacist, do pharm tech first. Like there's vet techs, like there's ways to dip your toes into the water before you have to like do it, that allow you to like get experience and know like if like you want to do this or absolutely hate it. I have people in my class who were on the ambulance like me and loved and go like, this is what I want to do, like this is what I want to do like the rest of my life. And I had people who were like, no way, no how, I'm not being a doctor, I'm not doing this, like I'm not gonna like ever work in medical, I hate this. And that's okay if you hate this, but it's good to find it at a young stage before you've wasted so many years and so many thousands of dollars that you hate something. So just like, do your journey, take risks, push yourself. I push myself in school and like studying, and it pays off. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll join me on more videos of my journeys of life in college, and I hope you've enjoyed. If you want to see videos on like how to study for the N.R.E.M.T, or like, you know, experiences on the ambulance or anything else like that, leave it down below. And so remember to subscribe and like this video, and have a great day.